Pergams.
Chairman Kildee, Congressman Sarbanes, honorable members of the subcommittee, it's an honor for me to appear before you today to share our research on the declining percentage of Americans visiting nature. I'll share my thoughts on what this trend means for our children's health, for their environmental attitude as adults. I'll emphasize research showing the most effective way to instill an appreciation for nature is through hands-on nature experiences incorporated into elementary environmental education. Lastly, I'll speak briefly on resulting economic benefits. First, I'll speak on the declining percentage of nature-based recreation. Our research published February 2008 shows that people in the U.S. and other developed nations are spending far less time in nature than ever before. With colleague Dr. Patricia Zaradick, I tested 16 measures of nature participation related to visitation of various types of public lands in the U.S. and other countries, number of various types of game licenses issued, and amount of time spent camping, backpacking, or hiking. The U.S. activities with the greatest participation were visits to U.S. state parks, U.S. national parks, and U.S. national forests. All three visitation rates are in downtrends and are declining on average between 1% and 3% per year. Now, during this testimony, I'm going to give you 3 take-home messages, and this is the first. The longest and most complete of the 14 U.S. nature recreation data sets show that ongoing declines in nature participation typically began between 1981 and 1991, are losing on average over 1% per year, and so far have lost between 18 and 25% to the present day. There is no longer any real doubt that the percentage of people involved in nature-based recreation is in long-term decline. Next, I'd like to talk about the benefits of nature-based environmental education. The first benefit I'd like to talk about is environmental attitude. Our 2007 review of related research suggests that direct contact with nature, especially as children, is the most critical influence on later attitude toward the environment. Family vacations and time with family and other mentors outdoors are a major influence on later environmental attitude. Environmental education is also important, but actually to a lesser degree than the presence of than direct actual experiences of natural areas. It is ideal when exposure to nature occurs in the presence of a knowledgeable mentor or teacher. Such a teacher answers questions and helps to convert the rich experience of nature to knowledge and increase curiosity in the student. Direct contact with wild nature, such as hiking, playing in the woods, camping, hunting, or fishing, and to a lesser extent, domesticated nature, by which I mean things such as gardening or pet care, before age 11 has been shown to be particularly important in shaping environmental attitudes and behaviors in adulthood. This research is also very important to today's proceedings. It means that, and this is the second take-home message, while classroom environmental education of children is important and absolutely necessary, incorporating as many hands-on nature experiences as possible is what's really crucial. These experiences should be with wild nature if at all possible, and with domestic nature as a distant second choice. Next, I'd like to talk about the effects of nature or lack of nature on children's development. 3 ways of experiencing nature have been described. Direct experience is undirected play in nature. For example, in a forest, neighborhood park, backyard, or even a vacant lot. Indirect experience includes things like zoos, nature centers, aquariums, and museums. Vicarious experience is without any physical contact with nature. For example, art, photographs, movies, videos, and webcams. Direct experience with nature plays the most significant role in children's cognitive and evaluative development. Direct experience of nature offers a multitude of continuously changing sights, sounds, smells, and touches that promote a wide range of adaptive and problem-solving responses, alertness, and attention. The more structured, indirect experiences of nature do not require the same level of spontaneous engagement and do not have the same developmental benefits. The least engaging and least spontaneous type of nature contact is vicarious experience through electronic media. This research is also very important to today's proceedings. It means that, and here's the last take-home message, the nature experiences incorporated should be direct experiences if at all possible, with indirect experiences second choice, and vicarious experiences, quote, electronic experiences, a very distant third choice indeed. The presence of a teacher or mentor in any case is still necessary. Just as exposure to nature has positive effects, lack of exposure has negative effects. Children under 13 living in the United States spend on average only about half an hour of unstructured time outdoors each week. Research suggests that this lack of nature exposure is leading to many developmental problems. For example, 5-year-olds limited in playing outdoors exhibited poorer social, behavioral, and motor skills and had fewer playmates than children who played more outdoors. Children attending a daycare center surrounded by orchards, pastures, and woodlands, and where the children went outdoors every day regardless of the weather, had better motor coordination and greater attention capacity than did children who attended an urban daycare center surrounded by tall buildings. Children who moved to housing with more nature nearby tended to have higher levels of cognitive functioning and focus than children who moved to housing with less nature. Activities conducted in natural green settings tended to lower the symptoms of children with ADD, ADHD, and raise self-esteem. Lastly, I'd like to touch upon the economic benefits of nature-based environmental education. I should probably mention that science is a second career for me. My first career was in the financial markets, and beginning as a bank foreign exchange trader and ending as owner of a commodities trading firm. We have seen that elementary environmental education and hands-on nature experiences for children will increase interest in nature and affirm environmental attitudes. This in turn will have enormous and beneficial impacts on our use of non-renewable resources and on our economy. The reduction in health costs relating to increased outdoor exercise will be substantial. Increased interest in nature would raise attendance at our great public lands and reverse the negative trend in U.S. nature-based tourism in general. In addition, we must consider that a downward trend in the quality of science education has emerged as a national crisis. The percentage of graduate students in science and engineering has declined steadily since 1993. Meanwhile, imports of science and engineering, brain power are up almost 40%. We must reverse this trend in order to remain competitive in the global economy. In closing, I recognize that implementing nature-based environmental education will not be easy and will take strong political will and courageous leadership. But I firmly believe that our efforts, if we succeed, will pay rich dividends for our nation's future generations. Thank you again for this opportunity to testify. I welcome your questions later on.
Thank you, Dr. Pergams.